Everyone. Ooh. Hey, guys and ghouls. What's up, Graham?
Hello. Hi, Grant. I don't know. I don't know if I should do the background, it ruins my horn. You can't see my horn if I do the background.
There's the horn. It's the best.
I think I gotta keep it.
Yeah, we gotta keep it so we can see it in. Welcome everyone to Happy Halloween. Graham, the unicorn, here with Pat. Grant Carlisle here, dressed up as Colin Farrell going to a movie premiere. I still can't. Welcome to a special Halloween edition of Sprocketeer's Masterclass. Today, Graham is going to be going over the scariest comp plans.
Whoa, no.
So as we navigate the haunted house that is terrible comp plans, each level will get increasingly worse, and you'll have scores and points you can win along the way. Nope.
I don't think that's right.
Is it just going to be Graham going over some? Yes.
I think so, yeah.
All right, so today, welcome Sprocketeers if you're listening. Those of you over on Discord, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, we're going to have this posted back to YouTube when we're done. So spinny to all of you. Big thanks to Graham for making this happen because it's Halloween and we wanted to do something fun.
Yeah.
Today, as we go over all of the different pieces, Graham has a slideshow to share with us. And when we post back, our kind of ending idea is going to be comp.quotapath.com. So Quotapath has done an amazing job of outlining and running, managing, helping you report on your comp planning. But they just built this awesome tool, and it's at comp.quotapath.com. We might be able to see it again, but from the top of the hour to the bottom, I want to make sure that that's being called out.
Awesome. Thanks, Grant.
All right, I'm going to bring yours up, Graham. There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we have the scariest comp plans. Awesome. Thank you. So I am a big fan of The Simpsons, specifically the Treehouse of Terror, and they always do like funny names in the credits. And so I went with Ghoulish Graham Collins, Meet the Monsters, expert. So I am, those of you who don't know me, I am Graham Collins. I'm the chief of staff at QuotaPath. We are a commission tracking and compensation tool. And one of the components of my role is that I sit down with sales leaders and rev ops and finance leaders and help them build comp plans, build the best comp plans for their organizations. So I've done almost 500 of those over the past few years. And I've looked at countless plans. And so wanted to highlight some of the scariest comp plans that I've seen over the years and the scariest components of comp plans that I've seen and how to avoid those. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, reach out if you have any specific questions. But first I want to talk a little bit about like why this is important. And I'm pulling some stats. We did a webinar last week as well around some survey data that we ran, but I wanted to pull some of those things and talk a little bit about why this is so important. And the number one thing that stood out to me is that 86% of reps rank sales compensation as their top priority when job hunting. And so comp is very key to motivating reps, getting new reps, retaining your top talent, all of that. So here are some other spooky stats. 90% of sales leaders don't trust their sales comp structure. 44% of reps aren't motivated by their comp plans. And 75% of sales reps don't trust that they're paid fairly. Grant, you disappeared on my side. Are you still here or are you just, yep, you're still here. Yeah. Excellent. Just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to make sure. And feel free to chime in or ask questions as we're going through this, Grant, as well. So, so scary plan number one. And I put all of these emojis on here, not knowing that Grant was also going to put emojis in here. And I feel like we're on the same page with the pumpkin. The pumpkins are right next to each other. That's That's
right
good.
ready.
I didn't do any candles though. Yeah, exactly. They're hanging out. So the first one is capped commission. And so I wrote a blog post around this, and I semi-jokingly said that I cannot come up with a single reason why you would cap commission. And if you can find one, please email me. But this is what a capped commission structure may look like. So a capped commission structure, you earn some sort of commission rate, 10% commission or 20% commission or 5% commission. It doesn't really matter the commission rate that you earn. What does matter is that at a certain level, you stop earning. And every additional sale you have after that, you don't earn anything on. You earn 0% commission. And those are really bad because it can be incredibly demotivating. There's an episode of The Office that I point to for this, where Jim has hit his commission cap for the year or quarter or something. It's been a year since I've seen the episode. And what does he do? He just like dicks around all day. Like he doesn't do anything. Like why bother working if you're not going to get paid for it? And that's what you end up seeing.
That's where all of Jim's pranks on Dwight came from. Is he hit his cap? Yeah. Now he has nothing else to do.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So this is a very scary proposition. And if you propose this, I also wrote an article on uncapped commission where I said, stop saying uncapped commission in your job postings as if it's like a perk or a benefit, because the fact that you have to point that out is almost sign that you don't know what you're doing by saying, oh, don't worry, the commission is uncapped. It's like, well, yeah, your commission should be uncapped always anyway. So
scary to think that you're not thinking about growth when you're hiring a salesperson.
Exactly.
I'm able to sell
that you don't want them to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The more you sell, the more you earn. So So the scary plan number 2, non-standardized plans. So what do I mean by this? So this means that your people in your company who are in the same role have different quotas, different on-target earnings, different plans, structures all together. And this is especially scary. So I'm going to click over here to an example of what this might look like. And these are real world examples. There's names changed, of course, for to protect the companies and people. But John, who started in 2019, has a base salary of $80,000, an on-target earnings of $150,000. And so I use OTE, or on-target earnings, quite a bit within this presentation. So I guess I can define that for you. So on-target earnings is made up of 2 components. You have your base salary, and you have which you earn no matter what. It doesn't matter whether you're selling or not. You earn that base salary. The second part is your on-target variable, or your commission or variable. It gets called a bunch of different things, but really what that means is that if you hit exactly 100% of your target every month, every quarter, every quota period, you hit exactly 100%, that's how much you would earn. So you add those 2 together, and that gives you your on-target earnings, or OTE. So in this example, John started in 2019. He has a base of 80K and an on-target earnings of 150, and he has an annual quota of 600K. So he's on what's called a 4x quota to OTE multiplier there. Whereas Dominica, who started in 2021, so a couple of years later, she has a base salary of 60K, an on-target earnings of 120K, and has that same annual quota of 600K. And so because she's being held to the same standard of 600K, but paid drastically less, she has a lower commission rate, she has a lower earnings potential. And these names are picked intentionally because oftentimes the people who this affects most are women and people of color. And so the fix to this, which 86% of companies do. So we do surveys every couple of years. And in 2020, we did this survey, and it was about 69% of companies had standardized their compensation plans. And then in 2022, when we ran this survey again, 86% of companies standardized them. So it's increasing, which is awesome. Love to see that. And the fix is to standardize your plans. They all reps at the same level have the same plan. Now, what often gets asked here is like, well, but John's been here for 2 years longer than Dominica has. And that's fine. That's fine that John has been here longer. You can create levels or tiers if you need to. So you can say, hey, John, congratulations. You got a promotion. You're now a senior account executive. Now, between those levels, you want standardization as well. So you want the same quoted on-target earnings multiplier. So with John, you saw a 4x. Dominica, you see a 5x. So the 120K to 600 is a 5x.
Right.
150K to 600 is a 4x. And so you want to finalize what you want that to be, standardize that. Okay, so maybe it's a 5x. Okay, great. You also want to standardize the pay mix. So 50-50. Dominica is on a 50-50. So her base salary is 60K. Her on target is 120. That's a 50-50 mix. So if anything, maybe you want to bring John's variable component up to so that his on target earnings is 160. But commensurate with that, you have to also increase his quota.
So then that annual quota.
I went on kind of a diatribe there, but
yeah.
Exactly. So if he's on the 5x, you're at a 160K times 5x, his quota would go up to 800K.
Sure. It would make sense that he's been here longer, he has more experience telling the story, and he can reach then that attainment, and so it'll be reflected in his pay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. So scary plan number 3, commission floors. Now, these have all kinds of different names. Commission floors or cliffs or, oh, geez, it's scaring Grant. So
what?
I love the emoji. I love the emoji with the eyes like just barely peeking out there.
Best one.
That's my favorite. Yeah. It's got to be a fairly new one. I searched for scariest emojis, which is like, what a strange thing to have to search on your work computer. But yeah, exactly. So commission floor, what this means is that you don't earn commission until you hit some certain amount of your quota. So sometimes this is really low. So, you don't earn anything until you hit 20% of your quota. And that's fine. Those are okay. But oftentimes I see it at 60% or 80%. I have seen one instance where it was 100%. You don't earn any commission until you hit 100% of your quota. And that doesn't make sense, because most people, if you have a normal curve, most people are not going to be hitting 100% of their quota every single month or quarter. And so they're just going to be earning 0 commission until they hit their quota. Wow. Yeah. So these are, I understand. Oh, did you have a question? Sorry, Grant.
Yeah, no, the incentive of getting to a quota or reaching a quota, because that's what the company wants, talking through resources throughout the month or doing call coaching, great. But then even when all of that isn't working for some reason, me getting hit because I haven't reached some floor, it feels very tone deaf to maybe what's going on with the business or me or the market. It feels tone deaf.
Yeah. Ugh. Absolutely. I mean, and not only that, but it encourages really bad behavior. It encourages behavior like, I put a bunch of sandbags on this chart. Again, my marketing team did not build this deck. They would be very disgusted by my designing of this. But I put a bunch of sandbags there because that's what you end up with is sandbagging. I know that, hey, I could close this deal. Today's the last day of the month. I could close this deal and hit 50% of my quota, but I wouldn't get paid anything on it. So why would I bother closing it right now? Why wouldn't I push it off until next month, where I have a much better shot of getting paid on it? Right. So you end up with some pretty negative behaviors. And even some people say, well, don't worry, our cliff is really low. Nobody ever misses it. It's 25% or whatever. And I'm like, well, A, why have it then?
Why have it?
What is the point there? And B, you're showing people that, like, by removing it, you're saying like, hey, we want to pay you fairly no matter what. We want to continue, we know nobody hits this. And also we want to pay you fairly to make sure that you actually get paid properly. There are times where I actually do think that these are okay, these commission floors. And that's when it's not necessarily the individual contributor in sales, where it's a sales manager or even a VP of sales, where, like, you don't, if your company overall hits 50% of your financial target, that's not great. You don't want your sales leader to earn 50% of their bonus if you hit 50% of your company-wide target.
That's a great distinction, Graham, that an SDR who's supposed to be leading a team, if they can't be leading their team to some minimum, all right, that makes a lot more sense.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like a VP or CRO. I mean, and the other time where I do see floors make a little bit more sense is with account management or where you're in charge of renewing accounts. Because if I only renewed half of my accounts over the course of the year, like in most businesses, I probably shouldn't get half of my bonus because I only renewed half of my accounts. So there are instances where it makes sense, but 99% of the time it doesn't. So.
Understood.
The next one is the shapeshifter. I started to give all of these like scary names, and then I just couldn't come up with a bunch. So the walking the plank was one of the ideas. Anyway, this is the shapeshifter, the constantly changing plan. And so what I mean by that is the times where you change your comp plan every quarter or every month, or so the less frequently you change your comp plan, the more confidence everybody, your sales leaders, your reps have in this, the plan. So avoid the shapeshifter.
It might be fun. It might be busy work for you as a leader or a manager to come up with these fun new plans. It looks like from the survey, Graham, that it'll literally just deteriorate people's confidence in those plans then. Yeah. So don't.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. No, I mean, and we can point to the English government right now, where if you are constantly changing your leadership, you may reduce the confidence. Same here. The more often you're changing it, it's showing people, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, if you love coming up with new plans and exciting new things, create spiffs. I love spiffs. I love competitions. I used to I ran an SDR team at my last company. I had 45 SDRs on my team. Every month we did something unique and different and fun where they could earn extra over their on-target earnings. One October we did a Harry Potter themed competition where everybody was put into different houses, and then the houses competed in like kind of a goblet of fire. Like it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Every year I would do a March Madness style competition during March Madness. And so things like that. If you want to make changes, do it in creative, fun ways, not by changing the comp plan every quarter.
Love that. Well done, Graham.
Yeah. Thanks. This one, this is where I really struggled to try to find them. But this is it just keeps coming and coming and coming. I guess it's sort of Solomon Grundy, I guess, is sort of like, doesn't he come back to life? And so the comp plan that never ends, where you are reading through, and it's 40. I have seen a 47-page comp plan where it lays out every single component, and it all of these exceptions and all of these legalese and all the different comp charts and whatnot. And people just, their eyes glaze over. They don't know what they're looking at. They don't really understand it. And so they just sell what they can sell. And that's goes against the methodology of your plan is supposed to lay out exactly what you want, what behaviors you want your reps to do. Sure. So this is an example. I have an example plan that is pretty straightforward, and I think it's 3 pages long. It lays out your commission table and your on-target earnings and your quota, and all in a really easy to read, manageable way. So those are what I would recommend for try to keep it under 3 pages if you can, without all the legalese.
And Graham, if there are legalese or examples or scenarios you need to run based on the actual comp plan, do you recommend having an appendix where those are included?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, obviously, you're going to have some sort of legalese, and then that's fine in the appendix or whatever. But this goes to a couple of things where, like, the reason it's 47 pages long is because your comp plan is too complicated. So I didn't put the overly complicated plan in here. That's not one of them. That is sort of the resounding story behind all of this is overly complicated plans. But I think that's fine to include some examples or to include some, the legalese or the wording about clawbacks or whatever. But give them a greatest hits, a 1-page greatest hits. This is all you need to know about your plan, what your quota is, what your commission is, so on and so forth.
Love that. Because if I can understand this simple little thing, then I can run some scenarios because you've laid it out easily for me. Or I can read through yours in the appendix because you've already laid those out. But at least I have one place.
Yep, exactly. All right, this may be our last scary plan, which is one of the scariest ones and one of the hardest things to get right, which is the unobtainium, I guess, the unobtainable OTE. Yeah, exactly. This is, again, OTE being your on-target earnings. So this comes up all the time where somebody says like, oh, what's the because I ask sales leaders, what is the OTE for your reps? And they'll say some ridiculous number like $300,000. And I'm like, holy cow, are you hiring? Like that's
right.
That's outrageous. And then the more I drill into it, it's entirely unobtainable. Like, okay, what % of your reps are hitting that? Oh, we actually had one of our 50 reps hit last year. It's like, okay, well, so that's not the on-target earnings. That's some lofty, outrageous number. And so they're often presented, and I'll flip back here. They're often presented because it's exciting and it's fun and it's good for hiring. Where you say our OTE is 300K. Right. Now, a smart hiring manager and a smart interviewer would ask, well, what is the average attainment? What is the average rep earning? And what is the top performing rep earning? But if you're confident in it, you should actually bring that up. Yeah, our OTE is 300 or 200K. And our average rep is earning $182,000 a year. Our top performing rep earned $280,000 last year. Right. So like laying all of that out beforehand, again, gives you those 86% of people who rank compensation as their top priority. Right. You're appealing to them. So there are a few ways that unobtainable OTE come through. One is in quota attainment, low attainment, which is top left in the corner there, which the pumpkin is blocking a little bit, but that says low attainment, where you see a whole lot of yellow and red there. This is just an example I took from a demo quota path workspace where I said, okay, I want to find I want to create a quota that is unobtainable. And that's what I did here is create, there we go. Bye. You see, your reps are hitting 40, maybe 50, some hitting 60, the highest person hitting 74% attainment. Yeah. Like that's just low attainment. And that could be due to a few things. That could be due to, not A, quota too high, B, which is the one on the right-hand side there, B, maybe your product isn't as good as you think it is. You need to invest more in your product. C, your lack of sales training or, the competitive nature. There's a whole lot of things that can happen, but like if you have that low of attainment, you need to take another look at what you're doing.
Right. It's not that anything's necessarily wrong. It's that the basket you've put together is telling you that it's not working. They should be hitting them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so, one is quota too high on the right-hand side there, which is so that quota to OTE ratio I was talking about. So people say that the SaaS gold standard is a 5X, and that's great. If you can get up to a 5X in SaaS and you see over $100 million in company revenue, like a 7.5 is average. And those are awesome. The higher the more revenue you have, the more you can dedicate to your reps, the more training and resources and marketing and more market presence you have, you can sell more. But if you're, even if we looked at the sub $1 million in annual revenue, and the average was about a 3, maybe a 3.1, something like that. And so your quota may be too high. I've seen situations where somebody says, our reps are only hitting 40% of quota. And I say, okay, what's your quota? Do the math on it. And they're at like a 14X. And I'm like, well, because your quota is too high. Like you're no wonder nobody's hitting it. Your quota is way too high. Another unobtainable OTE. Okay.
Yeah. Graham, it's not necessarily that any one thing is now this smoking. It's just showing you that there's some sort of issue. You need to look back. And that's what you keep calling out is that, look, it's too high. I can't tell you exactly what all the things are maybe that are involved, but we need to look now into your business, what your reps are doing how much coaching's going on. And it starts this whole conversation where you can actually dive in to your team. And seeing something like this, just avoid having that. You're not dead in the water. You just need to have a conversation.
Right. And people are very hesitant to lower quotas because that's like, one of the cardinal sins is you can't lower quotas. Sometimes lowering quotas increases rep attainment because they have this yardstick where you say, hey, your quota is $1 million and they're only selling 400,000 and they feel bad about themselves. They feel like they're not achieving. They're stressed about it. Well, then you go and say, well, now your quota is actually $500,000 a year. And what do you know? Your reps start hitting $500,000, $600,000 because they're like, holy cow, I'm actually performing. I'm doing well. They're less stressed. They're able to be more relaxed. And so we often see that is when you lower quotas to a reasonable level, your reps actually attain higher.
Love that.
And one other option with the OTE, the unobtainable OTE, is the base salary is too low. What I mean by that is, see, 56%, maybe kind of tough to see there, but 56% of the companies we survey have a 50-50 pay mix, meaning their on-target earnings is half the base salary, half variable pay. I've seen situations where 2% of the time they don't have a base salary, or it's only 20% base salary, or as you can see there, 30% is the most common outside of below 50%. And so what you're saying is like, yeah, your OTE is 300,000, your base salary is 100,000, and so then I'm like, well, but shouldn't it be a 50-50? Like, so where is your faith there? So anyway, careful with that as well.
It's good, Graham, that you have this. All right, so if you're hitting this scary avoid thing you want to avoid, you have some clear next questions that you can ask. You're doing a nice job of recognizing this is a situation, but here are really the questions to start asking to take care of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we are coming up on the end here, which is Grant talked about it at the beginning there. Comp.quotapath.com, compensation hub. We recently released this tool. It allows you to model and build and compare your comp plans based on information about your business. So what is your revenue? Well, that will then recommend a quota OTE ratio for you. What is your average contract value? It'll recommend a quota period, so monthly, quarterly, annual quotas for you. And then you can click one button and actually bring it directly into QuotaPath and track and calculate your commissions automatically. So, but with that said, it's a completely free to use tool. It's not even gated. You don't have to enter an email address. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just go to comp.quotapath.com. Some of my favorite plans are up at the top there. There are some plans you'll see in there. We have the cliff, we have cap commission. We have those included in there because those are our plans that people build. Now in there, you'll see pretty strongly worded, don't do this language, but it is in there if you want to scare your RevOps team, but or I guess more of your AEs. But you can customize it based on information about your business.
Those of you listening, comp.quotapath.com. My favorite part, Graham, is you can change, like I can see in the GIF, you can change all the variables. What you guys did so well, though, is also based on those variables. It's not just the output. You also have this little meter at the bottom. Tell us what that's doing.
Yeah. So that's the quota to OTE ratio. And so that's where in that one slide I had here, like what it does is it gives you like, a yellow range, a red range, a yellow range, green range, and then a yellow range on the high end as well, which is where because sometimes people are like, that person who's a 14X, they may, if all it did was just be green, they'd be like, well, heck, I'm doing great. I've got a 14X multiplier, it's green. But no, actually it'll turn yellow again and say, hey, this may be too high for your business. If reps are hitting it, that's fine, but be careful with this. You have to be careful on the yellow ones there. So yeah, that chart or that little dial tells you, hey, you're in a good range here.
It's helpful to get some feedback like that. So as you process and maybe you're manipulating the variables, it's starting to show you what the output might feel like. And like Graham said, be careful going this far. Be careful going that low. It's awesome.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and we're going to continue building plans in there and different modelers. So what works for the AE modeler isn't going to work for the SDR modeler, isn't going to work for the VP of sales modeler, isn't going to work for the account manager modeler. And so we're going to be building each of these different tools over the next several months. And I'm really excited to see how that tool continues to be built out.
Awesome. Go to comp.quotapath.com. I already went in and just played around with the variables. It's very helpful. And then like Graham said, you can literally click and export it. So even if you want to put it into a quota path, you can. If you want to show someone before you install, if you want to put it in a report, if you want to walk through a loom, you're able to literally do that because they have the export feature.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, Grant,
right,
this was very scary, very spooky. I turned my video or my background back on, but it does hide my horn, so I apologize. You can't see my horn, but
this spooky, scary edition of Sprocketeer Masterclass could only be done with the one and only Graham. He shows up like this, or like this, like this. Oh man.
Yep.
The whole
I know. I was gonna try to go scary. I was gonna try to go the scary costume, but then I thought I was already gonna scare you enough with the with what I was presenting. So I wanted to lighten the mood a little bit with the unicorn. Exactly.
Georgette back at my home office sits behind me, and she'll be happy that we had another unicorn on live with us.
Excellent.
All right, Graham, thanks so much. Happy Halloween, everyone. Take care. Spinny, spinny.
Bye, y'all.